Matter of fact, you said to yourself, if folk knew all the hell you've been through, they'd be up dancing for you. You would never have to dance no more for the rest of your life, because you've been through enough stuff. The devil's been all up in your Cheerios to the point where you just know that it's got to be my time. When you look at somebody, tell them, baby, it's my time. My time. So I'm running out of time. So let me hear up. Why is it then, people, Charles, we in our saved, anointed, appointed, wrapped up, tied up, and tangled self, why is it that God ain't dealing with us like he said? Because he said, I never say anything, and that thing I say does not come back and accomplish what I said. So if he said it, that settles it. If he spoke it, it's got to come to pass. And I'm just trying to figure out, if he spoke it, when is he going to do it? Yeah, and I don't want up in the church. Y'all acting like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Look at the ladies, I can answer that same question. When? It ain't that I don't know. I know he's going to do it. My question is when? And Mother Brandon, one thing I discovered as I passed over 50, you become conscious of time. When you're in your 20s, you don't think about getting old. When you're in your 30s, you don't think about getting old. When you're in your 40s, you think you got it going on. When you get to 50s, I'm in the middle of my life. But all of a sudden, you wake up and realize that the time ahead of me may not be the time that I've already had. So God, whatever you're going to do, why don't you just do it now? Who am I preaching to? And then God sits there and does not say anything. And you keep on praying. Well, I got some answers. Look at your neighbor and say, Bishop got some revelation today. Because here's what the Lord said. And he says it in verse number 1. I want you to look at Galatians verse number 4 chapter and verse number 1. I want you to look at this. He says, as long as you are a child. He said, as long as you are a child, then I gotta treat you like a child. Somebody gonna get this by the time they get home. Wait a minute, I'm a rule out there. Oh, the devil is a liar. I'm growing up in the Lord. Now he said, as long as you a child, he said, you're gonna be a child to me. Which means a child can't deal with adult stuff. Help me somebody here. I'm going to shout like to come on over this show. He said, as long as you're behaving like a child, I'm going to have to treat you like a child. In other words, you got it all. There it is in the text. He said, all of it is already yours. Look at the name and say, it's already mine. Look at somebody and tell them, it's already mine. But yeah, it is. But the problem is that you're acting like a child. And you would never you would never give your keys to a 5-year-old and say, move the car across the street. You would never give your checkbook to some 10-year-old and say, balance my checkbook and write all the checks. You would never tell your 12-year-old son, go to work for me next week. Why? Because they're a child. And when they act like a child, you gotta treat them. When they act like a child, you gotta treat them like a child. And even though you already told them, listen here, you told them, when you get old enough, the car in the garage, I'm gonna park it in the garage. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna shine it up and wax it. I'm gonna keep it ready for you. And when you get old enough, I'm gonna give you that car. But you can grow up and be 22 and daddy still leave the car in the garage. But daddy said, wait a minute. Even though you old in age, you still acting like a child. And I dare work for my car and put all that money in the car and keep the car and then give you the car and then you act like a fool and tear up your car. That's why I said God will treat you like you did. Are y'all listening to me? Oh, they done got tied up in here. They done got real pastor. First they done got tied up in here. Because I just found out that the reason why God ain't gave me Holy Ghost and pressed down, shaking together, and running over, is because when God sees us, he sees us acting like little children, throwing temper tantrums, getting attitudes. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel like I'm strong in the Lord, sometimes I feel like I'm crazy, sometimes I feel like I can run over truth and climb over walls, and sometimes I just want to hide in a cave and tell God, why me, Lord, why me, Lord, why me, Lord. He says, whatever you behave, that's exactly what I'm going to do for you. Touch your neighbor and tell me, what time is it? Well, first of all, it's time to grow up. Go down the road and say, baby, it's time for you to grow up. I know you got your driver's license. I know you got a job, you got a house with your title, you got a writ with a lease with your name on it. But I came down my way to heaven to tell you, it's time for you to grow up. As long as you keep acting like a child, God is going to treat you like a child. And everything that's in the throne room that can be on the planet for you, not tomorrow, not next week. God is a right now God, which means that everything that God has for you, he can release it right now. Somebody tell me, I'm ready for mine right now. I think I'm getting ready to change my attitude right now. I'm getting ready to change the way I think right now. I'm getting ready to change the way I act right now. I don't care. I'm getting ready to cut some book off. Because I just figured out that some folk got me acting stupid. There's some folk got me acting crazy. There's some folk got me acting silly. And what I'm getting ready to do, I'm getting ready to grow up. But I just found out the only thing that's standing between me and my blessing is the way I behave. And God is only going to bless me the way I behave. Y'all still with me? Just give me 10 more minutes. I'm going to be there. This is what Paul said in 1 Corinthians 13 and 11. He said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. He said, I understood as a child. He said, I thought as a child. But he said, but when I became a man, I learned that I don't walk around with my pants hanging down. I don't pull my pants. Y'all didn't get that. So when I was a child, I thought like a child. I spoke like a child. I understood like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. You better smack somebody and tell everybody on my road better grow up. I don't want God to miss my blessing. I don't want God to get ready to bless me. And he look down on this road and see some childish folk on this road. You better look down that road with some authority and tell your neighbor, it's time for you to grow up, baby. Girlfriend, it's time for you to get real with yourself. It's time for you to get what God has for you. And the only way you're going to get it is you got to grow up. You got to grow up. You got to grow up. He said, as long as you're a child, I ain't going to treat you like an adult. I'm going to treat you like a child. And everything I have for you, you ain't going to get it. But it's getting worse. Listen, it gets worse because I can deal with that because that means that I just got to grow up. But here's what he says. While you growing up, I'm going to treat you like a servant. And they mess with me. Because I remember when Erica and Andrew was growing up, when I needed a glass of water, I sat in my chair and said, go get me a glass of water. They served me. In other words, I'm the adult, you the child. Go get me a glass of water. And as a matter of fact, if you go get the water, you better not go get it with an attitude. Because if you get the water with an attitude, I'm still going to drink the water, but I'm going to deal with your attitude. I'm going to call that today. So therefore, in their mind, they had to say, we feel like slaves up in here. And I said, that's right, you are a slave because you are a child. Touch it and say, don't let God treat you like that. Oh, y'all scared to talk back to me now. Touch somebody and say, I ain't going to let God treat me like that. I'm tired of working and not getting nothing in return, but this is enough to survive. Because when you're a child, you got a roof over your head, you got a room to sleep in, but guess what? You ain't got no big bank account, can't work. Whatever Dad give you, is just what you're going to get. Whatever he said you're going to have, you ain't going to get no more than what he said you're going to have. And sometimes Daddy said, I put a